All right, I have very important lesson to all business owners out there, especially if you just open a business and it's your first or second year. You probably gonna deal with it and deal with it a lot. I want to show you, teach you how to make your customers happy and how to avoid unhappy customers. You need to understand who is your best and who is your worst customer. It took me years to understand it. It's the biggest miracle in business. I never could understand it with my brain until I understood the psychology behind it. When people are asking you for a better deal, they're asking you for a discount, they're asking you, not to charge something better price, match the price, stuff like that. Usually those people are turning into your worst customers. Not always, but it's almost a rule in my book now. People who's constantly nickeling and diming you, who is cheap, we call them cheap, right? So you know the type. You work your ass off for them, you try your best, you go above and beyond to please them. At the end of the day, despite the fact that they always get a better side of the transaction, they always have a better deal. Sometimes you break even or even lose money, and you tried your best hoping they're going to give you a review and they're going to be happy at the end. They are never happy. Yet you gave them the best price. You should charge them more. And on the other side, you have customers who paid you premium price. I mean, I'm not saying you overpriced them, but you gave them fair market price. They did not ask for discount. They did not ask you for cash deal. And at the end of the day, those usually become your happiest clients. And I never could understand it because I'm a people pleaser. I want to work above and beyond what I promised. I want everybody to be satisfied. And yet my worst customers were always people who paid me the least amount of money and who got the best deals. And my best customers always been people who paid me premium. They are the ones who's going to recommend me, give me a good review, and praise me and do business with me in the future. And I finally got it. I understood, like, you need to understand who the cheap person is. You're not the one who are they chipping out. Like, you're not the one who they chip towards. It's not, they're not robbing you, they're robbing themselves. They are cheap because they're not happy, because they're selfish. It's a mentality, it's a mindset. There is a type, there are a type of people who don't like to give, don't like to tip in a restaurant. They're just, it's all about them, and that will never bring happiness. And because they're not happy people, this transaction with you will never be a happy transaction. Doesn't matter how good of the deal you're gonna give them. They are the one who has the problem with themselves, and you're not gonna change them by giving them a better price. You're not gonna change them by working harder and throwing more stuff at them because they are cheap. They're gonna go to Best Buy and buy a TV, the cheapest TV, and they're gonna come home and hate themselves because regretting that there was a better TV and they didn't get it. It's gonna go towards every area of their life because they know they're cheap. They know they're not treating others well. And when those people do transactions with others, because they're so selfish, because they don't have a giving mentality, they don't respect others people's work, no matter what you do, they will never be happy. So you're gonna work your ass off, they're gonna never gonna give you good review, and that's just how it works. I'm sorry, but I learned how to filter those people early on in the process. I'm no longer gonna work around the clock for those people. My price is my price. If you're a needy person, it's one thing to ask for discount because you cannot afford it, and I'll work with you. But if I feel like you're just cheap, I'm not gonna work with you. I don't work for cheap people. I'm a giver. I will do jobs for free for a person in need, but I will not take a job from a cheap person because those are the ones who's gonna ruin my business, ruin my reputation, will never be happy. Why would I do it to myself? And again, it took me years to understand it, and I learned how to walk away from people because you just cannot please them. That's all I have for you today. Comment below if you agree.